Oh, of course, I forgot. Just having turned the camera off, I forgot to talk about the reason I'm making this up. I'm going to put Sarracenia in this because Sarracenia have a salt index of at least 33 grams to the litre, sort of thing. So, you know, they can handle basically seawater running around their roots for some time anyway, you know, as long as they're flushed out eventually. But they can handle that sort of thing, whereas, you know, Venus flytraps can only handle like 22 grams to the litre. Cephalotus is in between 22 and 33. Capes and things like capes can only handle 11 grams to the litre salt index, sort of thing. This is potassium amended salt index, of course. That ties in with eating the insects, of course. You know, the more insects you eat, the more potassium you get, the saltier the soil you can cope with. You can cope with salty soil that has greater nitrogen fixing ability. You can see the double positive feedback cycle happening, and the drive for survival of the fittest, and also probably speciation to a certain extent. But you can also see why people had so much trouble, because if you put a concentration that's relevant to like fly traps and cephalotus, or maybe even Sarracenia, onto something like a cape, you'll kill it. Things like that. And then you've also got the other level of complexity. You've got things that are serpentine responsive and not ones that are not, like Drossa Bernarda is a serpentine responsive plant, and it will respond, whereas Capensis isn't. So, but you can also get mycorrhizae on the roots of both plants. So there you go. It just gets different levels of complexity and you know, depths of knowledge, I suppose. But anyway, so as you can see, the theory is starting to all come together and starting to be rounded up, and eventually we'll be growing plants in the garden. You'll be having people growing Sarracenia in their bloody front lawn, and you'll be able to people walking into their bloody orchid shows, you know, just, you know, because, you know, in the past the orchid people have always thumbed their noses at we see people, oh, you call that a fly trap? That's a bit small for a fly trap, and all that sort of stuff, you know. But eventually, when this all comes out, it'll be a totally different world, you know. We will actually be telling them how to grow their terrestrial orchids now, because this research will move into terrestrial native orchid growth and things like that. And also, I'm thinking of there may be a way of actually making this stuff up from simple components, you know, that you can commonly get in like South America, and so you're making basically a terra preta. Because I don't think the terra preta that they have, that all this so-called charcoal biochar sort of thing, is actually giving the results that, you know, I think there's some thread of knowledge has been lost somewhere there. You know, they've got the A and the Z, but they're missing the the guts in between, sort of thing. Yeah, it doesn't quite work, you know. All this biochar people are making up in, you know, tonnages and things and putting it on, and the plants are just basically the same. It's because it's not fixing the nitrogen from the atmosphere, basically, I think. But I think I can actually make this. I've got ideas and plans to make this formulation from basic components that the South American Indians would have access to and could make up. So it might extend into a basic terra preta formulation which will match things in the wild of South America, and everything will start to tie in, you see. How they would have worked it out, I don't know. Maybe, you know, how they could actually sort of think, oh, okay, I've got to do that, and if I take this and put it together like that, and then they all mix together and all work, you know, everything comes together. I don't know how they would have worked that out, but they had many hundreds of, well, many thousands of years. I mean, if they were down there as long as our Aborigines were in Australia for 80,000 years, I suppose, well, they had plenty of time to, you know, think these things up, and maybe they had a few geniuses out there over the years, you know, maybe even a few women geniuses, you know, out there in their day. Maybe they respected women more than the Western world does, I suppose, in from that respect. They didn't poo-poo women for being smart. But anyway, hopefully. Anyway, well, that's about it for this now. Bit of a rant there as well, but you know, yeah, I mean, we're living in Abbott land. I mean, to Tony Abbott, women just don't even count, don't even rate, do they? You know, they're not even really there, are they? I mean, yeah, well, he's going to be gone by the middle of the year, I reckon. I wouldn't be surprised if his head's on a spike on the lawns of Parliament House sometime after winter. Yep, winter is coming, Mr. Abbott. Yes, may you live in interesting times. Okay, over and out.